Hey guys, so it's been a while since I've talked to you. Obviously, I had a vacation. Italy was amazing, by the way. I went to Florence and Rome. It was, it was just beautiful. I really like seeing like the old buildings and the old churches. It's really incredible going there. And you get to see stuff, and it's like they built this 2,000 years ago. To me, that's just incredible that it's built 2,000 years ago, yet it still rivals buildings built today. A few of them, anyway, like the Colosseum, even though it's half torn down. Anyway, that's not what I'm going to talk about today. My main topic today is, of course, the update, Squeal of Fortune, and the get more spins and the fact that you can now buy spins. And basically, the reason I didn't do this yesterday was because whenever something's said on the day of release, it tends to be inaccurate. Um, really good example of that was the hate the original update of Squeal of Fortune received when it really didn't deserve it because everybody was really panicking about like, oh my goodness, this thing's coming out and it's going to ruin the game, the divines are all going to crash, and then people kind of realized nobody gets divines, period. And by the way, I am in freaking Internet Explorer because for some reason the RuneScape homepage will not load in Chrome. Why? I don't know. But anyway, it's just something that pisses me off. But so this original Squeal of Fortune turned out to really not be a big deal because you know the chances of getting a lucky divine, even a lucky arcane, any of the lucky items, just doesn't really isn't really enough to affect the game. Um, and it's so low that really nobody has them. I would say probably the lucky divine might be the rarest item in the game right now. Like even beyond the golden scythe. I mean, don't quote me on that because I'm not sure. I don't know how many have come into the game, but at the same time, not many people have them. I mean, might just be a few. So it's like that really never affected the game. And even with this, it probably still isn't really affecting the game because there's just not that many still. But overall, kind of what I think about it is it's not the greatest move by Jagex. Sorry, I'm still kind of getting over a cold. I literally got sick like the day I went on vacation, which kind of sucked. But that's okay. Still a good vacation. But so it's just really not the greatest move by Jagex, and it's really it's because it's a different type of update. By the way, if you are looking at the screen, you don't have to play the game. I'm just recording this because I'm not really sure what to record in the game, and I'm not doing a whole lot of skilling right now. So but yeah, so it's really just a different type of update to the game. I mean, you look at like the Squeal of Fortune, it gave, it was a little different, but it wasn't necessarily something that was unheard of. Um, it's like people were kind of, you know, doing similar things already, like gambling and stuff. And it was just like a free thing, and it was just a little bonus to, if you're logging in every day, you get a little bit of extra, maybe a chance to get a divine, just a little bit of free XP, stuff like that, which I think's fine. I mean, as I said, it didn't really have an effect on the game. Other things that people really bring up a lot, refer a friend. Um, First of all, I think refer a friend has a very legitimate purpose. You have if you legitimately have a friend that sees you playing the game is like, hey, I kind of want to play that game. You can be like, here, let me refer you, and if you really do like it, you become a member. I get 10% XP boost. You get, double XP up to level 30. That would just be helpful to them, helpful to you. I mean, they still have to play the game. It's not like they can't play. And people have this sort of nostalgic like idea about it that's like, oh my gosh, I loved when I was that level. And the reality is you didn't. You wanted to get up to a higher level too. So, just the double XP is a little bonus. So, that was refer friend. And then the final one that people bring up a lot is loyalty. And the loyalty rewards, I think it's really just, it's like a little bonus for long-term members. People often bring up the idea that it's like, yeah, it's for long-term members, but what if it kind of encourages people to keep paying even if they're planning on quitting? Like somebody quits and they're like, well, I might come back in 6 months, and so I shouldn't really stop paying because then I lose the loyalty program thing, loyalty point edition. I don't know what it's called, but anyway, and so it's like that's true that you could argue it being that way, but at the same time, also, if you quit, then you quit, and you know, if you might come back, then I guess yes, keep paying, but then you're kind of admitting that you're not really quitting. You're just like taking a break. So it's like, yeah, it costs you a few extra bucks, but some people just don't bother because at the end of the day, they might raise membership fees, and if you stop paying, then you have to pay the higher membership fee anyway. So it is kind of like a back and forth thing. In my opinion, that's not really a big deal, especially because, as I said, if you are just a long-term member, I mean, you're one of those people that plays this game and doesn't really take like, a break in playing. Like a lot of people do take breaks, like they'll take a 3 month, 6 month, year break and then come back. But other people just don't. They really just play this game pretty much every day for like 5 years. And you know, if that's gonna be the case, then the loyalty is very nice for them because it's like I'm playing anyway, and I just get a little bonus, and I think that's fine. Jaggeds should give bonuses to their members. We pay. But then, excuse me. So then, what really makes this Wheel of Fortune extra spins different is the fact that, first of all, it's not a members only thing. Technically, a non-member can buy 750 spins. If you didn't know, it's a $200 cap, which comes out to about 750 spins. I believe that's a permanent cap, similar to how like the Refer a Friend has a 5 friend cap. This is a similar thing to that. And so, this $200 cap, obviously that's a lot of money, but at the same time, we pay about $60, $70 a year or something like that anyway. So basically, you can basically pay 3 years membership in a few days. I said basically a lot there. Anyway, and it's just one of those things. Let's see. I'm actually reading this. No, never mind. It's just one of those things where it encourages people to pay a little bit of extra money for a chance at gaining something. In this case, it's free XP. Now, the free XP does kind of annoy me. I guess it's not free when you're paying for it, but it's not really the most efficient XP, except for things like rune crafting and stuff like that. But in my opinion, this is probably the worst update Jagex has done in a while. I'm not really a fan of it. However, it's not the update that people made it out to be like, oh my gosh, people can just buy, whatever, max cape or whatever. Because the reality is, as I said, it's capped at 200. You can't buy infinite amount. You have to, pace it out at the very least. I'm not sure if the 200 is a daily cap or a monthly cap or just a permanent $200 cap. And I'd say Jagex probably made it a $200 permanent cap. That makes sense because they would understand that people could literally buy a max cape if they didn't. So they probably did do that. And I know some people have kind of come up with this idea that Jagex is just trying to milk RuneScape for everything it's worth it before shutting it down. And I've said, I had another one of these that I made. That's not true. That even the investors coming in, they want to make a long-term profit. That Jagex doesn't want to just make a really short-term profit and then quit. That's not the goal of buying a company. So I'll link that in the description. I give like all my reasoning for that in there. And basically, I'll give you the quick short version here. The goal when you buy a company is to make that company a little bit bigger, make it a little bit more profitable, and make it last a few more years. If a company's dying, it's not worth the same amount that you would buy it for. So, for example, kind of depends on like the industry, but a really simple example would be like if you have a profitable company that only makes VHS videotapes, like that, you might say it's profitable, so I should buy it. No, you shouldn't, right? I mean, it makes VHS videotapes. Who's buying VHS videotapes anymore? It might be profitable, but it's only going to be profitable for maybe like a year, and then it's just going to have to shut down because nobody else will be buying it. I don't even know how it would be making a profit today. This might be like 5 years ago, let's say, when VHSs were kind of going out, DVDs were going up pretty quickly. That says more than 5 years, so that's like 10 years ago. Anyway, aging myself, but that's okay. And so, you wouldn't invest in that kind of company unless you want to make that company change. You might want to make it from a VHS company to like a DVD company to, improve it, update it. And so I guess my point is, a game like Jagex, the fact that somebody's investing in it means that they are expecting a long-term profit. Jagex is not simply going to shut down. Now, you might say, Jagex has a lot of other games coming out. That's true. So there's things like Stellar Dawn, things like that are coming out that are different from RuneScape, and therefore they might want to shut down RuneScape. I don't agree with that. I think they view RuneScape as the main money-making product. I said in the last one, I said it somewhere else, I think. But basically, if you think about it, Jagex has all these other updates, like Stellar Dawn, stuff like that are coming out, and those cost money. You don't develop these things for free. And so, if you're developing all these other things, then those things might be a priority in development, while RuneScape is basically the money maker. So it's basically providing the money to make these updates. So if you think about it that way, that these other things are taking the money, RuneScape is making the money. Basically, the company has to keep making money, make enough money off RuneScape to support these other projects. And then once those other games start making their own money, Stellar Dawn becomes active enough that it makes back its own money. Excuse me, that. But yeah, it makes back its own money and can start making profit. Then they won't need to milk RuneScape for that same amount of money. It'll level out. It'll overall become better. They're never going to shut down RuneScape for at least a very long time because they see RuneScape as the money. I mean, it's like saying we're going to shut this game down because it's not as profitable as it once was, but it's still pretty profitable. In fact, it's probably more profitable. Now, personally, I admit, as I said before, I don't like this update. I understand why they're doing it. They need to make money. They're a company, period. I mean, people say it's like, oh my gosh, it was way back in 2006 when, they were focused on the game more. They're focused on the game because the game makes money. The game still makes money. They're just figuring out more ways to make money out of it. That's just the reality of a business. I don't think any business wouldn't do that. Any person wouldn't. Now, yes, you might say, well, Andrew Gower wouldn't. And it's like, that might be true. He might have tried to take the company in a different direction. But you don't know that. You can't confirm that. I mean, it's like, you see that a lot in politics where people, say, oh my gosh, this person's horrible. They're ruining the economy. It's like, well, what would your president that you want do? It's like, well, what would you be doing there? And the reality is people just don't know. You can't confirm it until you're actually there. And so my point is that it's not really as bad as people make it out to be. And 2006 was, by all means, not much better than it is now. I mean, it might have been a little bit better, but at the same time, other things were a lot worse. I mean, I like chaotics, I like a lot of the stuff I have now. I like the fight kill. It's like, yes, things were nice then, but things are also pretty nice now. Yes, we have a few disadvantages now, but they also had a lot of disadvantages then. And it's like, things come and they go. You can't just be like, oh my gosh, I'm so fixed in this one area. And so that's kind of my opinion. So I guess my final point is this, that Jagex is going to continue updating RuneScape. I don't think this update's the best update, I admit. But there's a lot of other good updates that people are looking forward to that are going to come out. Fight Killing wasn't too long ago. That was a great update. I mean, yeah, some people were kind of disappointed that it was a little bit easier than they thought it would be. At the same time, it's still a pretty good update. It's a good money-making method. It's really quite nice overall. There's things like the Queen Black Dragon, the Calfight King that are coming out that are going to be actually hopefully pretty impressive. And that's different idea, different new stuff that's going to be coming out. And it's like, Jagex isn't going to just be like, okay, we're going to release these, then a month later we're going to shut down the game. Of course not. If they're going to shut down the game, they just stop releasing updates and just sort of let it die out. People keep paying membership for, a few months, and then they're like, well, this is retarded, and then quit. They're not going to just shut down the game one day. There's new updates coming out. They're probably still planning updates for next year as well. I mean, the game isn't going to shut down anytime soon. It's probably going to be 5-10 years before the game shuts down. And I don't see any reason why it would shut down before then. And so, really, that whole idea that the game is being milked and like they're just going to quit, I completely disagree with. Completely untrue. It's going to keep going. And even though there's going to be a few updates probably like this that we don't really like as players, if we keep voicing our opinion about this type of update and say, we don't like this, and the answer to we don't like this, isn't like, oh my gosh, let's go, riot in the in like whatever world, Valador, or let's just stop paying because neither of those really accomplishes anything. If you post on the forums and just give a legitimate reason that this hurts the game overall, that it makes things viable that shouldn't be viable, Jagex does listen. I mean, surprisingly enough, they do. And eventually they'll get the idea that, if they do this kind of update a lot, that we just don't like it. And, they do have a goal of keeping us happy. I mean, they give us a game to play. It's not like they want us to be these miserable little people that just play their game. They want us to be happy while playing. I mean, that's why we play, because it makes us a little bit happier, or at least gives us the illusion of happiness or something like that. And so, if that's their goal, if things like this make us unhappy, they just won't release them. And because of that, I really do see the overall, that their overall goal would be our happiness, that just post on the forums, say you don't like it, give a good reason. I mean, don't just be like, I hate it. It's retarded. It's gay. That's not a good reason. Give a reason. And if you do that, eventually they will start listening. And these updates won't be like this. That's honestly what I believe. I hope that's true. You can post in the comments what your opinion about it is, and what you think about what I said. And as I said, the other one I did of these will be in the description. If I can come up with a name of these, but oh well. And I will see you Thursday with a new achievement diary, since there's a bunch of new things I need to do for the achievement diary. So yeah, I'll see you then.